Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. I'll be conducting this demo in English since we have non-Arabic speakers in the room. However, if there's anything that you're missing or anything that you don't understand, I'll be more than happy to explain it after the session in any language you want. I know 3 languages, English, Arabic, and French, and a bit of German. Let's start with a quick thought. 3 years ago, if I have told any of you to develop a fully functional website in 1 day or 1 week, for example, this would have been impossible. But now using Windsurf, this is possible. I can develop a whole fully functional website in less than 40 minutes. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Reem Saeed. I'm a cloud engineer at Deloitte Innovation Hub. I've been working with DevOps and AI in multiple projects. Some of them are research and development, and some of them are client projects. So Windsurf is an AI coding assistant tool. It has auto-completion features, and it also has, it's integrated with multiple IDEs, including Visual Studio. Windsurf has its own IDE as well, which is called Windsurf. So in this demo, I pre-recorded the demo. And in this demo, I requested from Windsurf to develop an e-commerce website, a fully functional e-commerce website. And this is what we will see right now. So the first question, or the first concern that Windsurf addresses is consistency. If you have a team of 10 members, how do you ensure that the code is consistent, that the naming convention is the same, that the coding style is the same, and that the architecture is proper, and that the people are following best practices? And this is why we use the rules. So Windsurf has a rules feature where you can write your rules in simple English, and once you mention these rules, Windsurf will be able to follow it perfectly. You can choose to enable it manually or make it always on, or if you want, you can let the model decide when they should use these rules, and this is what I prefer to do. I will give it the description of what these rules are supposed to do or when you should follow these rules, and the model will decide when it's suitable to use these rules. So in this demo, I've told it that these rules should be used when developing an application in Next.js. So I will first give it a prompt to develop an e-commerce website. I give it all of the features that I want, and I've told it to first plan, divide the development of the website into steps or tasks, and then I will approve the plan first. I need to review it to make sure that all of the tasks are making sense, or that this is what I actually want. And maybe if there's a task that I see is unnecessary, for example, then I will tell it, no, remove it. Or maybe if it's a very big task, I'll tell it to divide it into subtasks. And I can review overall the plan. And as you can see here, it's thinking, it's reading the rules, seeing what are the rules that I've put, and seeing the features. And then, as you can see here, it produced the phases of the development of the website. And it also produced a to-do list. So it's able, and making sure that it's following the to-do list and making sure that it's developing something that I want. And then I'm happy with the plan, so I tell it to proceed with the plan. And then I will tell it to continue developing the product. However, I will use 2 things, because I wanted to, so let's go to the DevOps part. I want, when I do a change, I want to commit it and push it to GitHub, and then maybe run tests, for example, and making sure that all of the application is working perfectly. So I will need to use 2 things for the commit and push part. I will use workflows. So the workflows are when you need to do any task or any repetitive and generic task, like for example, commit and push, or for example, run a test and then make sure that all the tests are passed, or all the tests passed, And if a task didn't pass, then fix it. So these are very generic and repetitive tasks that I want to do and don't want to keep writing these prompts, so I will use workflows. As you can see here, I will put how it should commit and push. Why am I using a workflow for commit and push? The model should be able to know how to do this, but I want to make sure that it's pushing to the right repo. I want to make sure that it's pushing to the right branch, and this is how I will make sure. I will write the commands that I wanted to run, or the specific steps that I wanted to follow. And then I will write the description of the workflow. However, the workflows, you need to trigger it manually. You can't just the model cannot trigger it by itself. You need to write, I want you to use this workflow. And then the second thing that I will use is an MCP for GitHub. So Windsurf has an MCP store where you can find very popular MCPs for very popular applications like GitHub, Puppeteer, and Jira, for example. However, if you don't find the MCP for the application that you want, you can always develop your own MCP on Windsurf and then use it. Here, you can see that it is, so I'm searching for GitHub just to show you. There's Puppeteer, there's Git, there's Fetch, GitLab, for example. There are lots of MCPs that are very useful for the development cycle, and then I chose GitHub. And as you can see here, it has a green dot, which means it's working successfully. And so I will mention I wanted to use the workflow and the MCP to commit and push any changes after each task. So after each task, you will have some changes, commit and push it to GitHub. It's proceeding with the first task, so it's going through the tasks one by one, and it's checking, okay, right now I'm doing this task, so I'm making sure that it doesn't divert from the initial plan that we have. I'm making sure that it's not going like, oh, I need to create a button, so I create a full website. No, I want go step by step and do one by one, so you don't, I want an e-commerce website, and then it creates a chatbot or something. I don't want this kind of hallucination. As you can see here, it's starting to develop the files and it's starting to develop like the code. Okay, so it will take like 5 minutes to develop, so I will now talk about maybe some basic technical features that it has. For example, it has 2 features, the code mode and, or 2 modes, the code mode and the chat mode. So the code mode is the one that we're using right now, which is I want you to develop or code a file, and I want you to edit files, I want you to write features, I want you to write functions. So this is the code mode. The chat mode is very useful when you're onboarding, for example, new members to the team, and you want them to familiarize themselves with the code base. So you will make the new member use Windsurf to ask about the code base. For example, what does this function do? What's the input and output of the function? How can I do this? How can I add this? What does this variable do? How is it used? When is it used? Things like that, and this member can keep asking about the code base and keep understanding what is happening. And it's still developing. And then you can you're not like limited to one model. You can choose what model do you want. I'm using here Claude Sonnet 4. However, there are lots of models that you can use. How do you use these models? So let's take a step back and talk about the payment or the subscription for Windsurf. So when you subscribe, you will get a specific amount of credits based on the subscription that you have. And these credits are used per model. So each model will have a different quota. So the Claude Sonnet 4, for example, has 2 credits per usage per each one use. And so each and every model has a different credit quota, and naturally, the older models has a cheaper quota, and the newer models have more expensive quotas. There's 2 credits, 1 credit, half a credit, and Windsurf has their own model, which is called SWE, and this one has 0 credits. It's for free, because they want to push on SWE naturally. And as you can see here, it's still developing and it's still working. And there is a very important feature, which is it can run terminal commands on its own. There are 2 options. Either I say, no, I don't want you to I will approve the terminal command, and when I approve it, you will run it. Or I can say, okay, I'm auto-approving everything. Any terminal command that you want to run, you can run. However, I do not recommend doing this because we've done this with another AI tool before and it deleted itself. So don't do that. So I'm using, no, I want to approve. I want to make sure that you're running the right terminal commands. And this is what's happening. And as you can see here, it finished developing the code. Let's see the magic. It's an error. So AI tools are not perfect, which is normal. But what is most important about an AI tool is that it is able to fix the error. That it's able to not just iterate over the same error and reproducing it, but fixing the error is the most important thing. So I will tell it, the website has an error. You check it, and you find what is wrong, and you fix it. And this is what's happening right now. It's fixing it. Hopefully, it will be able to fix it now. And the website will run. As you can see here, it was able to develop the website. It's searching, it's filtering. You can add to cart. You can choose however what quantity you want. You can view the cart, proceed to checkout, and then you have a fully functional e-commerce website without the payment, because I need a credit card. I don't have one. And this is the magic of Windsurf. But now we have another question. So what about security? This is just a demo, Reem. What about security? What about efficiency? What about reliability? And these are the questions that we had in Deloitte when we first tested Windsurf. And this is why we decided to use it in a real-life project, which is Procurement AI as a Service. This service helps pharmaceutical operations optimize their procurement operations. And in this, while we were developing this product, we were able to raise efficiency by 80%. What does 80% mean? To put it into perspective, it means that the work that was usually done in 1 week can now be done in 1 single day. Now, okay, what about security? We did a penetration test on this website, and it was able to pass the penetration test with flying scores. And as you can see, it's fully functional, and this whole website went into production in only 6 weeks. I think this is pretty impressive. As you can see here, you can use it. Anyone can use it. And that's it. Thank you. Anyone has any questions? Any wondering? Okay, thank you.